2023 is the year of the rabbit. In this video, we will show you how to make a rabbit felt key cover using florals and patterns inspired by Japanese art. Let's make our design. We will choose a hoop that is bigger than 10 centimeters in width and height, that is approximately 4 inches. Select felt fabric. Now, let's make the outline for the key cover. Start the rectangle tool. Set 20% on roundness and draw a rectangle. To set the size, uncheck the proportional and set the width to 60 mm and the height to 90 mm. Now center it to the hoop. Remove the fill color as we will only use the outline. Let's pick a color for the outline and select the oval bean style of stitches to decorate it. Now, using the auto border tool, we will make a running stitch around it. Using this running stitch, we will stitch together the front and back fabric. The auto border must be set to the outside by 2 mm and the type should be running. You may choose a different color for this running stitch so that when the machine prompts you to change the thread, you will place the back fabric. Now we need to keep an area open from which the cord will go through. Enable the view of the grid so that you can be more accurate. Start Edit Nodes mode and right-click on the outline, approximately 4 mm to the left from the center, and use the Split Outline option. Do the same for the other side. Click to select any of the nodes of the middle part and delete those nodes. Feel free to adjust the opening according to your preferences. Likewise, we will make an opening at the lower part from where the keys can be pulled out. To do so, split the outline at these 2 nodes. Right-click on any of the nodes of the new part, use Select Polyline option and delete all selected nodes. Now let's draw a rabbit. We'll use the body part from the clipboard library, but we'll draw our own cute rabbit face later on. So, open the clipboard library, locate Rabbit 03 item and click Insert. Click and drag to define the position and size of the rabbit. You may hold the Shift key down to make sure that it is positioned straight. Once you release the mouse, the placement is finalized. For our design, the rabbit should be about 61 mm in height, so you may also set the size right after placing the rabbit. Now, let's move it to the lower right corner. Ungroup so that we can remove any unnecessary parts. I will delete the bow tie, the yellow outline and some underlay parts which are below the ears. Remove the fill color of the rabbit and set the outline to red. Use the same red for the ears. Now, for the rabbit outline, set it to satin serial and set the outline width to 2 mm. We can also edit the outline. For example, you may want to change this corner a little. I'll also edit the ears. Moving these nodes at the edges can make the ears more pointy. Now we will use the Convert Outline to Object option to make it a fill object and gain more control on the stitch flow. Using the stitch flow, we can divide this corner and change the direction of the stitches if necessary. Let's make the face of the rabbit. Using the ellipse shape, draw an ellipse for an eye. Remove the outline and set the color to red. Set the size to 2.2 mm in width and 3.5 mm in height. Make a duplicate of the eye and move it to the right position. For the nose, use the ellipse tool once again and draw a slightly smaller and horizontal circle lower than the two eyes. Set the color to red and remove the outline. Set the size to 2.8 mm in width and 2.0 mm in height. For the mouth, draw another ellipse, but make it a vertical one this time. Set the size to 5 mm in width and 6 mm in height. Duplicate, check proportional, and scale it at 115%. While holding the Control key down, move the circle slightly upward. Select the two circles together and apply the trim option from the shaping tool. Delete the bigger circle. Put this part in place and edit its shape if you like. Make a duplicate of this part, apply Mirror X, and move it while holding the Control key down so that it can maintain the parallel line. Bring the nose to front. For the cheek, simply duplicate one of the eyes and rotate by 90 degrees. Check proportional, scale to 90%, properly place it, and duplicate it once again for the other cheek. Now, let's add some items from the clipboard library to decorate the design. First, let's place these flowers into the body of the rabbit. And create this floral to be placed next to it. You may tilt and position it in any way you like. Now we want to add a floral vine effect to the white area to embellish the background. To do so, go to Digitize Tools and start the Magic Wand tool. Then click on the white area and a shape is created in the shape of the area. Now right-click on the shape and from the appearing menu use Array and create Floral. Select flower and leaf and proceed. This looks nice, but I want to move the floral vine starting point, so start Stitch Flow tool and click and drag to specify the position and the length of the stem. Take your time to create the look that pleases you. For example, you may adjust the scale of the flower and leaf to make the elements bigger. You may even adjust the scale of the branch if you like. Anyway, this is our take of this floral vine. Once you're satisfied with your floral design, click Separate to Objects. We're going for a single color design, so we will set the red color for the floral as well. Ungroup this floral part. Now, you may fine-tune the design if you like. For example, I want to customize my flower a bit. So I'll change the petal into satin stitch, which will allow me to add divide lines so that the petals get a realistic effect. Now I can use this customized flower wherever I like. For a clean cut look, you may use the knife tool to cut off any unnecessary parts. Using the outline shapes tool, define a line that crosses the part that is to be cut. Then select the created line along with the branch. Right-click and use the knife option. Our design is almost ready. At this point, we need to make sure that the blue running line, which will hold the two fabrics together, is embroidered last. As you can see in Slow Redraw, the blue comes between the red parts, so we need to change the sequence. Switch to manual mode and simply move the blue running line to the bottom of the sequence. Now that the design is ready, prepare the files for your machine. In a complementary design, we shall create charms for the court. Using the ellipse shape, we'll draw a circle. Hold the Ctrl key down to create a perfect circle. Set the size to 25 mm. Delete the fill color as we only need the outline. Enter 0 on the y-axis. Now we need to add some decoration into this circle. You may either choose something from the clipboard library or use something from the previous design. Resize the design as you like. Now select the circle along with the flower and apply Align Center tool. Choose the outline and duplicate it. Set a different color from the first outline. Select all parts, make a duplicate, and move that duplicate part to a new point. Switch to manual mode to adjust the sequence. We'll use the black outline as guide stitch to place the fabric and the blue outline at the end to stitch both fabrics together. This design is also ready. Now, let's make our key holder. For this project, we will need 2 pieces of felt cloth, 9 by 12 centimeters each, that is approximately 3.5 by 4.7 inches, 4 small pieces of felt, 4 by 4 centimeters, approximately 1.5 by 1.5 inches each, a synthetic cord of about 36 centimeters, that is about 14 inches, a key ring, and we also need a suitable hoop, stabilizer, and threads. First, mark the edges of a cross-center line on one of the cloths. Set the stabilizer to the hoop. Draw a cross line using the guide template on the stabilizer. Place the cloth at the center of the hoop using the cross line you made. Pin it for stability, making sure that any pins are out of the machine's way. Set the thread and bobbin and load the file to the machine. I choose to go for white thread on red felt in the end. So the preview is different, but since I've added the red fabric and the white thread, it will be okay. Attach the hoop to the machine and start the embroidery. The machine stops before the outer line. Remove the hoop from the machine and remove the pins. Place the other cloth at the back of the hoop. Hold it and turn it around so that you can pin it in place. Again, make sure that any pins stay out of the machine's way. Set the same thread color and bobbin as the color of the cloth. Attach the hoop and start embroidering the outline. Remove the hoop from the machine and take the pins out. Remove the stabilizer from the hoop. Tear the stabilizer and trim it with scissors if necessary. Use scissors to cut around the felt approximately 3 mm away from the outline. Be extra careful not to cut the outline stitch. Now, let's make the charms for the cord. Hoop the stabilizer and set it to the machine. Load the file and start embroidering the outline first. We will use this as a guide stitch. Now, place the tips of the cord at the center and secure them with masking tape. Place the 2 pieces of cloth on top of the guide stitch. The bottom line of the square should be slightly below the guide stitch. Secure them with pins. Again, make sure that the pins won't harm your machine. Set the hoop to the machine and start embroidering the design. Remove the hoop from the machine. Now flip the hoop and place the other 2 pieces of cloth to the back of the hoop. Secure them with pins carefully. Attach the hoop to the machine and start to embroider the outline. Tear off the stabilizer. Use scissors to cut the outline, making sure you don't cut any stitches. Thread the cord through the opening. Attach a key ring to the cord and it's done. Enjoy a prosperous and peaceful rabbit year.